when it came to Scoob, out of all the animated films of 2020, I was super hyped for this movie. Not only were we getting another Scooby-Doo adaptation, but a Scooby-Doo adaptation in CG, it seemed like the perfect Scooby-Doo movie for me. So when the movie actually released, maybe it was a good reason why it was on demand at the end of the day. Because this is the most disappointing movie of the year. I mean, it's not the worst. I think Trolls World Tour is a little worse than this, but it's still pretty bad nonetheless. Alright, so what's the story about? Well, it shows a flashback of how Scooby and Shaggy met as kids. Later on, they meet Fred, Daphne, and Velma, and it shows how they became Mystery Inc. Later, as adults, they get Simon Cowell, yes, Simon Cowell, to make Mystery Inc. big, but he can't do it because he says Shaggy and Scooby are screw-ups and wants to kick them out of the team. Yes, Simon Cowell ruins their friendship. Wow. Simon Cowell ruins their friendship. I'm sorry, I find that so hilarious. So, anyways, Shaggy and Scooby decide to go bowling, but a bunch of mini robots attack them. So they get saved by Blue Falcon that has to stop the Dastardly, who's opening a portal to save Muttley. Okay, so what's the biggest problem with Scoob? Well, it has a bunch of ideas, but they just toss them and don't add anything new to them. Like, for example, where Simon Cowell says that Scooby and Shaggy are screw up, even though it shows them solving the mystery perfectly as kids, or anytime. There's no build-up. You know, as bad as the live-action films are, at least there was dynamic between the characters. And I can see why in the first one they would quit Mystery Inc. It was a little forced, but it made sense. Also, the rest of Mystery Inc. think that they abandoned Scooby and Shaggy. No, they didn't. They were protesting against them leaving. You can't just tell me that they feel bad all of a sudden. God! And you know, not all your audience have seen Scooby-Doo. You have to give them some depth, like, give them an experience they've never seen of Scooby-Doo before. What else is there? Blue Falcon appears, and then all of a sudden, it becomes a Blue Falcon crossover, which is fine. Scooby-Doo has crossovers before. But there was anything barely to do with Blue Falcon in the movie, besides Scooby and Shaggy dressing up as him for Halloween, and I guess Shaggy being a fan of Blue Falcon. It makes absolutely no sense. If you want to do this, you have to build it up a little bit more, not just cut right to the chase. So, there is a little bit of a dynamic between Scooby and Shaggy in this, but it's handled horribly. I mean, Shaggy thinks that Scooby's ego is becoming super big, when his excuses are completely pathetic. In fact, he nodded that he could take off his collar. I saw it with my own eyes. And then all of a sudden, he becomes pegged to Scooby. And really? You think Scooby has a bigger ego when your IO Blue Falcon has the biggest ego of them all? God, the friendship plot is messed up all over the place. And, oh, by the way, Scooby is the key to Alexander the Great, according to Dick Dastardly. Because, yeah, a dog that escaped from the pound is the key to Alexander the Great. God damn it! Also, the characters of the Blue Falcon story, they pretty much suck. I mean, you got Blue Falcon himself, or should I say Brian, yeah, they don't use the original Blue Falcon, who is a complete douchebag and doesn't learn from any of his mistakes, and doesn't even try to improve. There's Dee Dee, who looks like a Fortnite character, who's just there to be the straight man. Oh, and by the way, Dynamite is no longer the goofy dog like Scooby-Doo like he was in the original cartoon. Instead, he's another straight man. Why do we need two straight mans when Dee Dee's there? Also, there's the villain, Dick Dastardly. When it comes to him, I was hoping he would be like a lightsaber to this film, but he doesn't have the charm he did in Wacky Races, which is fake because he's the best part of Wacky Races. He just doesn't have the charm. I mean, and Jason Isaac doesn't really do that good of a job as him trying to be over the top. Also, when it comes to the voice acting, is awful. The only one I liked was Frank Welker, but it's Frank Welker. What do you expect? He's a legend. But when it comes to the rest, none of them bring anything unique to the roles, and they just end up being worthless. The worst of them all will have to be Will Forte as Shaggy. Not only does he even not sound like Shaggy, but his portrayal as him is terrible. You couldn't get Matthew Lillard, the best actor for Shaggy, to play him? Wow, what a slap to the face to him. There's a bunch of other stuff, like the awful humor, or how Captain Caveman just appears for a few minutes and that's it, he's never seen again. the ending where Shaggy sacrifices himself for Scooby to stay in hell, but then just comes back at the end due to the power of friendship, yeah, that did nothing for me. Because it sucks out all the things that make Scooby-Doo unique and just turn it into an awful flick. In fact, I'd rather watch the live-action films than this, because as bad as those were, at least there's some charm I can see through them. And at the end of the day, there are better interpretations of Scooby-Doo, like Scooby-Doo Zombie Island and Mystery Inc. As for this, if you like this film, that's totally fine. But as for me, this is not a Scooby snack I would want anytime. If this is their first attempt to set up a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe, then wow, this is off to a terrible start.